Jonathan Kuminga, he was an appearance at a crossover event in Seattle on Saturday and really turned up and dazzled the fans in attendance. 60 points for the athletic two-way forward, 5 rebounds and 6 assists as well. Some huge dunks, typical Jonathan Kuminga. It really, looking at some of these highlights, the defense on show was not suited to going against someone of Kuminga's talent, that's for sure. And nor were they particularly willing to try and stop him and prevent him from doing what everyone was there to see, and that was to throw down some jams off the dribble, offload passes, everything like that. So an impressive performance. Look, the ball handling was nice to see. A lot of kind of full court stuff, bringing the ball inbounds and then taking the ball the length of the floor, regularly breaking down defenders off the dribble before detonating at the rim. It was fantastic to see. It has to come with a word of caution, let's be honest. It's a off-season showcase event, really. The crossover is really building steam here as a staple of the NBA offseason. We saw last year a huge event that included LeBron James and Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Jason Tatum, DeJounte Murray, which got into the second quarter, and then there was some condensation on the floor and whatnot, which meant the game had to be cancelled, I think, at the 5:47 mark of the second quarter. But really, it is, it's still a showcase event. And as I said, a lot of the defense that was being played yesterday appeared like it was, something from the All-Star game rather than anything close to high-level NBA defense. And when we're in a Pro-Am, obviously, we're not going to see Jonathan Kuminga scoring 60 in an NBA game next season. So there has to be a word of caution here, not only with that, but the fact that, hey, he can come out here and do whatever he wants. That's not going to be the case for the Warriors next season, where, some of his buckets yesterday came, in transition opportunities, which I think is still going to be the biggest aspect of Kuminga's game next season. Steve Kerr's not necessarily going to throw the ball in his hands and say, here you go, do whatever you like, which I guess has probably been a frustration for Kuminga over his first couple of seasons, because for a number 7 overall pick, usually as a young player in that situation with the talent that he has, he's actually able to go into a system where teams aren't necessarily looking to win. They're still in rebuilding mode, and they're happy for you to kind of experiment with your game and what you may be able to develop and bring to the table now and into the future. And the Warriors certainly aren't in that scenario with Kuminga. So for me, looking at him next year, it's still going to be more about the transition stuff. Obviously, defense, I think, first and foremost. He had some great outings last season, guarding guys like Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic. I think he can become, one of the Warriors' best defenders. He probably already is one of the Warriors' best defenders, alongside Dre and Andrew Wiggins. So that's the stuff I'm looking at next season. It's not going to be, this stuff where I see him put the ball on the floor and dribble by defenders and break them down and get to the rim. Like, that's fantastic. That's cool, but it's not necessarily what he's going to be doing for the Warriors next season. It's an extra element, I guess, that they could utilize. And if he becomes a bailout option in second units where you can throw him the ball with 10 seconds on the shot clock and he can go make a play, then that's fantastic. And I think that's, an element that we could see at stage next season. But there is also the brand new acquisition of Chris Paul, and you would hope that he's going to have the ball in his hands in most second units, and that he's going to be able to initiate the offense and get the Warriors into good sets and get the Warriors good shots without having to say, here you go, JK, here's the ball. We don't know what we're doing. Make something up for us. Use your individual talent to go get a bucket. So it's obviously a big pivotal third season for JK. Looking forward to what he can do. I really think he can make a rise here, and he's a major wild card to what the Warriors can do. I would just press caution here on taking too much from this event on Saturday, because late last month we saw MarJon Beauchamp, the Milwaukee Bucks second year forward, coming into his second season. He dropped 83 points, which is a record for any crossover event. So I don't think that MarJon Beauchamp is going to be coming out and doing that kind of thing in the NBA next season. So it just goes to show, and I think it goes to show that the depth of talent in the NBA and the talent of some of these young players is, a lot of people a lot of people off the streets think they can hang with NBA players and think they can compete. It's just a completely different level of talent and skill here that is just completely unmatched. And I think that's still, like, I feel for some reason that still surprises people that, hey, Jonathan Kuminga can go to this event and drop 60. I mean, of course he can. Like, he's coming up against some amateurs here. Of course he can go out there and drop 60. He probably could have dropped 100 if he really wanted to. So